It was definitely getting late. In its time, the Trump Hotel was full of people racing the clock, the grandkids dashing around the concourse playing tag with Uncle Barron. You could pick out the made men in the lobby, Trump's adult children strutting around as if they owned the place. Don Jr. and Eric would be nursing drinks with those stiff Trump smiles and simultaneously bloated and angular cheeks. At close range, they flashed scared and darting Trump eyes, as if bracing for a light fixture to fall. You could tell the boys really wanted to be recognized, especially by Dad. The likes of Senator Lindsey Graham would look so powerful in here and feel so appreciated. Over 4 years, he had made himself a top deputy in service to the Alpha. He never looked more enthralled than when he was skipping from table to table at the Trump Hotel, getting thanked for all of the wonderful things he had done for our great president. There might be some Turkish businessman chasing after him, trying to get a meeting with the boss down the street, or some oath keeper wanting an autograph. Lindsey always said he tried to be helpful. No one would pester him at the hotel with those tiresome "what happened to Lindsey Graham" questions that so many of his judgy old Washington friends were asking. They were lucid enough to remember the dead-eyed, chubby-cheeked South Carolinian when he served as John McCain's proud sidekick, bathing in all of McCain's reflected glory and honor and moral authority. This was before McCain died, and Graham would, in his mind, trade up to become one of Trump's favorite golf amigos. Maybe it brought him some grief, but also big cachet at the palace and free drinks. I once asked Graham a version of the "what happened to you" question, how he could swing from being one of Trump's most merciless critics in 2016 to such a sycophant thereafter. I didn't use those exact words, but Graham got the idea. "Well, okay, from my point of view, if you know anything about me, it'd be odd not to do this," he said a bit defensively. I asked what this was. "This," Graham said, "is to try to be relevant." Being hooked on Trump made him relevant. It was a hell of a drug, and he had to keep his dealer happy. Nearly all elected Republicans in Washington needed Trump's blessing, and voters, to remain here. "If you don't want to be reelected, you're in the wrong business," Graham told me. "I have never been called this much by a president in my life." He admitted that it would be hard to give that up. They all said as much. I could get Trump on the phone faster than any staff person who worked for him could get him on the phone. Kevin McCarthy, the House Republican leader, would brag, flush with relevance. What would you do for your relevance? That's always been a definitional question for D.C.'s prime movers, especially the super-thirsty likes of Lindsey and Kevin. But never did it render itself in such technicolor as during the Donald Trump years. How badly did you want into the clubhouse, no matter how wretched it became inside? Was it enough to turn the Republican Party into an authoritarian griftocracy, or yourself into an accomplice to a national trauma? Could you live with that? Relevance always comes with a price and a shelf life. Either you're in power or you're out, well-positioned or not. Traditionally, the local biorhythm is cyclical, a revolving membership of bodies orbiting in and out of the sun, depending on which party controlled the sun. But the sense of borrowed time was acute at the Trump Hotel. Everyone was always rushing around the lobby, trying to maximize their haul before the sun set. At least there was some expectation that after Election Day, or whenever Trump finally gave up the ghost, things might finally calm down a little bit. Okay, Election Day might have been optimistic. I returned to the Trump Hotel a few days before Christmas. The state electoral college delegations had all met on December 14th to affirm Joe Biden's victory. Soon, theoretically, it would be safe for the 46th president and his total pros to inherit the whirlwind and restore order, for Tom Friedman to be welcome again back at the White House, for Democrats to get on with their lefty overreaches, and for the donors to start bitching about how Biden was not properly glad-handing them. Then the inevitable backlash.